Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good morning.
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Good, yeah.
Yeah? So, putting it all together, I guess speaking to you guys first, what was the first seed that started this concept? Because it's trippy. The concept is nicely trippy, though. Like, I love the way you've kind of bent together a few genres.
I think the first thing we ever saw in terms of visualizing the movie was the one long take where it transitions from his apartment to the swamp.
Right.
We just thought, like, just throw a camera into a situation in which someone is having a switch of perception without cutting.
Wow.
Just show exactly what it looks and feels like. And that was really exciting. And of course, that wasn't just throwing a camera in. That was a massive bit of visual effects work by our VFX company, Booth.
And, you know, then how do you come up to this point where you're like, okay, we're going to have time travel, we're having, like, kind of this thriller element as well, and then there's elements of quite a bit of horror. The first half feels very much like a horror movie. So, did you guys, like, how do you make that decision, or does it just happen as you write it?
Well, you know, there's like this weird distinction between horror movie and scary movie. So I was like, you know, scary movies aren't always horror movies, and horror movies aren't always scary movies, obviously. We love all genres, and we'd be flattered if we're flattered when people do call our movies horror movies. But really the aim is to give the audience the roller coaster ride of being afraid and feeling scared and feeling dread. And yeah, we thought if we could do that with the mystery of this pill in the first half, it would, you know, get the audience through having to be uploaded on 2 years of physics and chemistry and synthetic analog drug laws. So.
Cool.
Yeah, when we started this movie, I didn't know what a designer drug exactly was.
Right.
So, I mean, so it's like, okay, if I'm starting from that point, and this is my, you know, deep dives into weird Wikipedia stuff and esoterica is part of my job, and I'm still starting at a disadvantage. You know, how do we get the audience to where we need to be so that we can have the scene where we transition to the swamp?
Right. And you guys did a great job. I mean, that's a tough thing to bring people up to speed on, but it worked amazingly well.
Oh, thank you.
Ally, for you, coming in working with these guys, what's it like? What are they like as directors? Pretend they're not here. What are they like?
Just pretend we are here.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. Like, just, they are so good at, like, finding, like, incredible people and trusting them. And I think that that's such an incredible skill. And then also, like, both of them are so calm, and like I never heard them, like, yell or anything. Like, they're always so, like, happy and, like, joking. And, like, a couple people were asking me yesterday, they were like, was it intense, like, filming that last scene? And I was like, honestly, no. Like, we were laughing. Like, it was really fun. Yeah, I had an amazing time.
Obviously, that second, the intense scene must be a lot of fun to be thrown into. Is that,
yeah.
Would you say so?
Yeah, it was, because, like, I think as an actor, like, the best thing is when, like, it feels real. And, like, they had built the trench, like, it was literally, like, this crazy trench, and then there was fire, and, like, it felt really real, and it was really easy just to kind of, like, react to your instinct and be in the moment.
I want to ask you all, what's it like working with this duo as well? Because they have such a great chemistry, and they bring so much to the story. So how do you find them? How do you bring them in? And then what's it like working with them as well?
Well, I'll give the how do we find them. An agent saw The Endless and really liked it, and just shoved the script down the throat of Jamie Dornan and is like, you've got to read Synchronic. And Jamie's just like, wow, this is amazing. And he's going to get so mad.
I was like, oh, well, that was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, what? But yeah, so we got to meet him, and he seemed to respond to it. And that was the missing piece that was able to get Anthony Mackie attached. And man, having people that are named talent could have been really, really difficult, and it was not. They were great. And and then I'll let you guys talk about the rest of it.
Working with Jamie.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
doing
Yeah, amazing. I
Yeah.
love them both. Like, I respected them so much before I met them or started working with them. I love Anthony's work. I'm like such a fan. And I didn't meet any of them until like I was on set. Like, I met them both like minutes before
Oh, really?
we were shooting.
Yeah.
But I think they're both like really just outgoing, like nice people, so it was like really easy. And yeah, like they're both really different. Like Jamie's really chill and like grounded, and then Anthony's like kind of more like energetic and like intense, and he has like really crazy stories, and he's like always like improvising, and like you never really know what he's gonna do. But yeah, it makes it like really fun to work with him.
Cool. Well, in terms of the actual overall film and writing and then directing, where do you guys divide that? How do you figure out who does what? Does it come naturally? Do you fight over it? How does that work?
There's no fighting.
No?
It's
That's amazing.
There's really no division either. It's just kind of dig in and
Is it always like a team thing? You both work on stuff? Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah. And we've both been filmmaking most of our lives at this point, and now we've been filmmaking together for over a decade. So yeah, there's no division. It's just kind of everyone digs in, gets their hands dirty, does what has to be done.
That's cool.
And somehow we always we have the same taste in everything, and somehow we always have the same answer to everything. Then also, it's like directing isn't just being like, we always have the answer and we'll tell you exactly what to do. We have a lot of answers, but a lot of directing is being like, talk to your collaborators and let's talk through what the best option is. And that's not something that requires a big fight and disagreement.
Does it change as you're filming it then, at the point where you've started to dig into certain scenes, and do elements change, or are you able to keep it dead on to what you kind of imagined?
Oh, you mean of the movie?
Yeah, once you're actually filming.
It's funny because on the yes side of that is this feels exactly like the movie we set out to make, the final product. But on the no side, just logistical complications, and also you just see that things that you thought worked didn't. That changes things drastically. Like even as simple as just not getting the location you need, or finding out that like shooting a scene of someone swimming in water at night is just going to be prohibitively costly without adding any production value. So we just change it. So you roll with it, but you realize that your imagination didn't include the visual stimulation of it. It included much more just the way it feels, the way it comes together, and the things you want to say. And then you realize that was your vision of it. It wasn't literally what the shot looks like while someone is swimming. You know?
Right.
Yeah. On occasion there is, by the way.
Right.
Like the swamp transition again, but yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the Shazam director did a video breaking down a whole scene, and the fact that everyone was complaining about these continuity issues and whatever. And so he walked people through what happened that changed the film so much. Do you feel sometimes like you're making films and people don't really understand how much goes into even just one single scene? Not to disrespect the audience, but it is interesting how there's a lot more going on with what you guys are doing first that people don't get.
I still feel like the buck stops with us, though, in some ways. There's a lot of times where it's out of our hands, but nobody ever, looks at... I'm not talking about Synchronic, but like if your budget gets cut by half, no one ever looks at the final product that's a mess up and goes, I blame the producer.
Yeah.
The buck stops with you, so you have to just own it and figure it out.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, in terms of audience reaction, you guys now have a sense of what people think. Were there surprises with what people walked away with, things that they caught that maybe you didn't realize was there, or things that they took that you were hoping they'd find?
I don't know. I mean, I think the biggest surprise was just like, when the first draft of the script exists in like 2015, 2016, and it was interesting to sit in an audience and feel the emotion of certain moments that you haven't, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like you wouldn't have put it in the movie if you didn't think it would be an emotionally impactful moment. But I mean, there's a few moments with Anthony in the movie that I forgot how much how much of impact they would have on an audience.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you know how whenever we're at a premiere, we've seen the movie a million times, and then you sit through it with an audience for the first time, and it's like you just forgot everything,
Yeah.
and you're experiencing it for the first time, and you only ever get that once
Yeah.
because you only get it right then because the assembly cut is nothing like what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know,
Whoa, that's
so
crazy.
it's just that one time it washes over you, and you get to actually track the beats in a non-mechanical, purely
Yeah.
emotional way.
Yeah.
So that was very cool to feel choked up for no spoilers for
Yeah.
things that happened.
Things that happened. There was the scene after the scene around the middle where he comes back once, and hearing everyone around me respond to what happened that
Yeah.
altered his experience.
Yeah.
Like that was an amazing moment to hear how much people. I mean, that was it choked me up too.
Yeah.
Do you take joy in people's sadness that
Yes.
you were able to push that button? Like,
Yes.
'Cause
I was
that's a tough
overjoyed to
button.
hear the
Yeah, that was
audience
really
respond
brutal.
that way.
yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
But it's
I
a-
was sad when I
Yeah.
watched it.
It's a tough button to push because you can make people laugh almost sometimes a little easier, but I feel like that reaction is a tough moment sometimes. What was your greatest accomplishment, would you say, in this film? I mean, is there one scene or one thing that was maybe the toughest to accomplish?
I don't want to say the swamp scene again. Because also that was logistically complicated, but that wasn't really our victory.
Yeah.
That was the VFX company's victory.
It is something that's, I mean, to see how they accomplished it, it worked out seamlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wonder of Anthony arriving in the War of 1812.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was interesting to go from
Let's take one.
take one.
Really?
And
Wow.
and also that all of those wonders existed on we shot them with an iPhone months ahead of time to kind of show people what they would be. It was really interesting to see like the finished product. What ended up in the movie was the very ambitious iPhone video we took in a park one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to see that with you.
That's cool. Is that going to be on the DVD?
We'll pull some up after
That's
this.
so funny.
The Ice Age sequence and the swamp sequence. He and I went to a park, and I was a caveman, and he was Anthony Mackie.
Anthony
You
Mackie.
know, we had our operator come on out, and it's the same thing, the same timing.
That's
you know,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, last final questions for you. You see the film. What was like? Is it a surprise to see how much magic they worked?
Yeah, it's like I've never been in something and then watched it and been like more surprised and like enjoyed a film more. Like
Oh,
That's a good review.
genuinely, because like I don't know, like it was just really different than I read it. Like I was a lot more scared. I was a lot more like sad. Like I didn't think of it as like Jamie said he cried when he read the script, but I didn't. But like I definitely was like really emotional like when I watched it, and just like I think it's the kind of movie that really just takes you on a journey. Like you feel like you can just surrender because it's so beautiful to watch. Yeah.
Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you.